What up, people? I'm trying to get it a little closer. What's up, people? What up? What's up, y'all? This is I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever. It's been it's been a while. I feel like it's been a while. We'll play some Georgia. Here we go. Wait on this to go off.
Jones caps under this at the 3. Dangerous receiver, good return man.
Go Dogs, by the way, people. My Georgia Bulldogs played amazing this weekend. We had a few people. What's up, Jacob? We had a few people that said Tennessee was going to score 21, 24 points. They scored 10 and scored a touchdown in garbage time. I don't know how many of y'all. What's up, Christopher? I don't know how many of y'all watched. I don't know how many of y'all watched the Georgia game, but yeah, Georgia played amazing, man. What's up, Lizard Circus? I'm watching the highlights right now. I'm letting them play for you guys. Had a great weekend. I'm tired as crap. I've just been tired. But today, guys, what I have for you is I have a special guest coming on. He is a former running back for the state of the University of West Virginia back in 1988. It was back when they had their undefeated season. What's up, Pizza Woman? And so I think we'll have a really good time getting to listen. I did not hear about that, Jacob. No, Uncle Lou. I have a record independent owner for a record label coming on today. And he's been a label owner for about 25 years. He got me an interview with a radio up in New Jersey, and they're going to put one of my songs on the radio. So that's going to be pretty neat. But he's coming up. He's coming on today, and we're going to talk some football. Well, he played running back for West Virginia. Like I said, he was undefeated in his 1988. Probably so, Uncle Lou. I'm going to let him listen to my song. I'll have to send it to him, but it'd be pretty cool if this could start, at least something where I could take a step forward and trying to make just more music. So I'm excited about it. But before he gets on, I wanted to talk some about Georgia. I've been super pumped about the way things have gone. The fact that Tennessee scored 7 points on us to begin. No, he doesn't know that, Lou. The fact that Tennessee scored the first touchdown on us on their first possession, and then we shut them down after that. I'm so impressed by Coach Smart. Like Kirby is doing something on another level on defense. Now I know we keep having injuries left and right. Like I really don't understand that part, and it is what it is. But I'm at a point now where watching Stetson do his thing, it is what it is. Do I know JT's the better quarterback? JT's the better quarterback. It is what it is. But our defense to be able to stop that offense the whole game and them not score another touchdown until trash minutes. Like, guys, if any of you have ever played football, any of you, if you've ever played sports in general, do you understand how hard it is to adjust, especially to an up-tempo team? Like, and then to do it after the first drive. Like, that's amazing, dude. Yeah, Christopher, we don't even have to talk about the Florida State game. Yeah, I remember last week Miami was like, oh, well, we beat ourselves. We fumbled 2 times and we almost, we lost because of excuse. I'm not doing that. I'm not listening to excuses anymore. Miami, you're just terrible, but you don't want to accept it. It is what it is. But as far as Georgia goes, like, go Dogs. And, anybody out there that wants to continue to hate on Georgia, it is what it is. But for the most part, y'all know. Yeah, appreciate that, Kobe. What's up, Dominic? But y'all know Georgia is ridiculous right now. We're starting to get players back healthy on the offensive side of the ball. So that's what we've been waiting on the entire year. But we'll see. Emory Jones better than Stetson. I don't know, fishing football. Only reason I would say no is because I know Emory Jones don't practice against Georgia's defense every day in the week. But as far as statistics go, he might have better statistics. What's up, Mr. Watson? But yeah, guys, I'm going to do my normal. We'll do the normal show to begin with. I'm going to have BA call in, and then we'll go for about 10 minutes. And then once we get done, we'll probably go about 10, 15 minutes. And once we get done, then I'll have his name is Eugene. I'll have him call in. And when he calls in, we'll talk, and we'll talk some sports with him. And then we'll talk some about his music and all this and that. And we'll go from there. You can go ahead and call me, BA. Hold on. Okay, right back. Emotional weekend. Why was it, Jacob Watson? Well, what's going on, Jacob? Emily Jones more interceptions than TDs. Oh wow, that's terrible. Hello, Miss BA. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What's up? What you doing?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a very eventful weekend for me, but I'm just glad to be.
Yeah, you seem like you were busy. I didn't see too many shorts that you did or anything like that.
Friday, I think I worked until like 9:30. As far as getting off work, and then just had training, and then Saturday. I had a lot of my kids are in basketball season now, so I went and watched like 4 or 5 of my kids at 9 play. Then had overtime. I did some work on the weekend and got done about 3:30. Then went and watched some more kids play for the rest of the night, and then I trained later that. Anyways, it's just been a fun, eventful weekend. But I was just super excited because I think you guys know his name's Joey Foster. He hooked me up with the guy that's coming on today, and his name's Eugene Napoleon. And he was a running back for West Virginia back when they had an undefeated season in 1988.
Oh, nice.
And so he also has been the owner of a record label, an independent record label, for 25 years now. And his wife has 6 platinum records. So it's going to be fun having him on. He got me an interview with a radio up in New Jersey and I'll be able to record it and have it on link and post stuff. And then at the same time, they're going to let me pick a song to put on the radio that we'll be able to play.
Oh, my gosh. So can I just start off by saying that amazing rap song?
Oh, you did like it?
Yes, and having the littles on there made it even better. And yeah, I mean, escalated it in a sense.
we today we did it again. We did the chorus. We went over it again, and I wanted it to be a little more, So we did it with a little more emphasis, and I'm gonna try to edit that in there too. But yeah, I thought it was good. I'm trying to get them more involved because I'm trying to make music that's not just kid friendly, but not bull crap. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I want it to be something that somebody could listen to and somebody can get, feel an impact off of. I don't want to just waste somebody's time or, temporarily intrigue somebody. You know what I mean?
Right. No.
So yeah, so that's it. That's kind of where we're at right now. But just looking forward to everything that's coming. Looking forward to all the opportunities.
It sounds like there's some good things coming your way, which I knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
But,
true.
The struggle bus that you were on, didn't make it seem like that anything good was possibly going to be happening in the near future. But look, here you are.
Yeah, no doubt.
Look at you.
No, for sure. What's up, Hufferbilly? Vic Tube, Fishing Football, Mr. Jacob Watson. Jacob Watson said, "Oh, we're calling in." Jacob, that lets me know that you don't pay attention to anything that I do, that I've ever done in my life. Because every Sunday, I have BA call in. Every Sunday. And the fact that you say, "Oh, we're calling in," bro, who am I? Am I nothing to you, Jacob? Or you just don't pay attention to me, bro? Come on, man. But
Oh,
yeah.
look at you hurting TV's feelings.
No, I ain't worried about it. But anyways, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. We had a great weekend. Of course, dogs won, dogs on top.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. My kids spent the weekend at their dad's.
How was that?
It was good. It was good. He took them to the fair. They had a really good time. So then this next weekend will be Thanksgiving weekend.
Got you. Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I mean, it just happens to be that's going to be his weekend coming up. So now it's just trying to solidify whether or not they're going to be going over there for like the week, or if they're just going to be going over there for Thanksgiving. Yes, that's what we're just trying to figure out right now.
Okay. Well, good. Do you feel better about that ever since it's kind of started?
I mean, I still have struggles. There are still struggles, but I recently just asked for money to help pay for the kids. My kids, both of my kids actually broke their glasses.
Dang! At the same time, they planned it?
No, not at the same time. Thank goodness. It's separate times, but yeah. So, and of course, that was a huge ordeal where I got the whole rigmarole of 20 questions.
Got you. Yeah, no doubt. Good deal. Yeah, that word rigmarole.
But he did end up giving me the money, which I guess is a good step forward. But just the hassle that I had to entail of trying to get him to do it when legitimately hasn't paid the thing in almost a year.
Yeah.
I didn't think that asking for $60 was gonna, be such a hassle in a sense.
No doubt. Well, that's good though. I'm glad things are better. I'm glad you're feeling more confident just about it. I know it was.
Yeah, I think if I can kind of get over this holiday, this holiday hump thing, just to see how everything's going to work out, seeing how this first time that this is actually panning out with the whole, the holidays coming up. Also,
yeah,
I think we'll end up getting into a regular thing. Hopefully after the holiday hump is over.
Well, good, very good. I mean, that's what you want. Hey, that's what you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, and that's what I've always wanted. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it'll all work out. And like it's not about me. It's about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want what's best for them.
How are the kids? How are they taking it? How are the kids taking it?
They're good. They're good. I mean, I get negative. I don't get it. I was about to say negative. I get positive. Reviews every time I go to pick them up. So yeah, I think they're liking what's happening. So that's why I'm hoping things will be moving forward. Hopefully, at a civil manner, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully everything will still be as civil as they are now. But I know holidays. People get crazy during the holidays.
I know. And you're just kind of wondering how, or I guess anxious to see how the first holiday goes. Will he be
right?
As mature
Exactly.
as he is?
With this newfound, setup, basically that's happening. I am a little anxious.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can't remember whose stream I said it in. I think it might have been Rogers, but for some reason, this past time when I dropped them off, I got a little bit more emotional this time dropping them off. I don't know what it was. It's like all of a sudden it felt like it's going to be the new norm for us.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's maybe something that kind of hit me all of a sudden. But yeah, I did get a little bit emotional after I dropped them off Friday.
And so you're saying this is every other weekend?
Yeah, right now it's every other weekend.
Okay. I mean, it's almost like you're giving the dog a little more of a leash.
Yeah, and I'm just, and not only that, but I'm trying to do what's right for the kids.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I mean, they, especially my middle son, he had been asking for a long time, even before the first time that they ever went over there for the weekend. He's been asking for a week. When it's going to happen? When are we going to start going over there? When can I see him? So I'm following what they want.
And so aside from I guess I remember you telling me there was one time where he was just a little rude, like as far as not emailing you or not telling you or something. I forgot exactly what it was, but is that?
Oh no, when he emailed back and said, "Oh, when I told him about my wreck, he was like, oh, I heard about your wreck. You don't about you, I can care less."
Yeah. Well, aside from that, has he done anything else, or has that kind of been the only?
Oh, I mean, he always says little things like that to dig at me and start shit. But
Gotcha.
And before I would probably take the bait, but now I just like, even in that scenario when he sent me that email, I was, of course, things run through your head of everything that you could possibly say, but I didn't think that level. I basically sent him like a thumbs up emoji, like, I got you, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Which in some cases is a lot better anyway, because they know that they're not getting to you in a sense.
Yeah.
So but trust me, there were a million things funny, and I may have typed out a couple of things and just deleted it. But
exactly.
In the end, all I did was send it back a thumbs up emoji, like, yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, and that's all you can do. You can't control everything, and everybody is the narrator to their own story. Everybody is the writer. So if they want to make you the bad guy in their story, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is.
Nope. Haters gonna hate, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad though. I'm happy for you with that. I really don't know. I just have a lot of stuff going on in a good way. I have a lot of projects. I'm glad.
I mean, if anybody deserves it, you definitely deserve it, because I'm going to be honest. You've had a shit hand the last couple of months.
Yeah. Well, last couple of 27 years, we'll say it like that.
Well, most recently for me, as I've been a part of this group only a couple of months. Yeah,
there you go.
You had a shit deal the last couple of months. So.
Well, and it's just one of those where, like me and you have talked about before, like, I don't care for handouts. Like for me, it's like if my God wants me to have a better life, he'll give me a better life. I'm not worried about asking for somebody else for them to make my life better, or me to ask this. Right. Like if he wants me to do it, I'll do it on my own type deal. Yeah.
So we talked about that, and that's how you and I are similar ways. It's hard for me. It's hard for us to do that. Knowing that, knowing that, of course, people, and people say it all the time, oh yeah, whatever we can do, but it's hard for us to do that because, I guess in a sense we are kind of independent, and we think that we can do it on our own without having to ask anybody for help. But in certain situations, it's not a bad thing to ask for help.
No, and that's where I've gotten better at, especially like with just living here with Stephen and them. It definitely has helped me to open my eyes. Like, it's okay to not necessarily ask for help, but take help from people who want to.
Right. Now, and don't see it as a handout. These are genuine people that are really wanting to help you and to help you succeed as well.
Genuine people, you don't have to ask.
Exactly. Yes.
Genuine people.
Yes.
You don't.
I could have said it better myself.
Well, and you don't have to ask them to text you or call you or say hey or check on anything and everything. And that's
the thing. Those type of people too that just randomly text you like in the middle of the week and like, hey, how's your week been? Or how's your Wednesday going? Yeah, those are those genuine people. Absolutely, I totally agree.
So I know, and that's why I say I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm excited, but I'm also, I say a little nervous, but it's not a bad nervous. It's one of those where, you got a big game tomorrow and you just hope you go out there and you play well, but you can't do anything until the game gets here.
Yeah.
Like it just, until it gets here, you can't do anything about it. But that's why I always try to keep myself in a state of mind to always, try and help somebody or try to make somebody's night feel better. Not saying I'm looking for it, but we live in a life where there's always something that will happen, whether it's to you or to somebody else. So there's going to be moments for you to help, like that. It doesn't have to be material. It doesn't have to be material. It could be, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It just, like I said, I'm just.
That's the thing, right. And that's the thing too. Like you are absolutely like a person I would be more than willing to help. And we've had this discussion before. But people that don't want to help themselves, we will not name said people. But the people that don't want to help themselves and just expect everything to be handed to them, those are the people that I have help. Agreed.
Yes. Agreed. And that it's kind of I guess that's kind of opened my eyes. SEC dog, we're talking about at the gas stations, they have the 2-for-1 on the little roller items. That's what we're talking about. The little like taquitos or jalapeno hot dogs, stuff like that. But what's up, TB? But no, I just that's kind of how these last couple of days have went. Like, I'll give y'all an example. So I had a kid, he's in 9th grade. He just made the varsity for the basketball team. They had their first game yesterday, and he started as a 9th grader. And so, I was at the game earlier, right before that, when the middle school is playing, and I'm watching the little 5th and 6th graders play, and all my, my little people are playing. And, I'm sitting over there, and I'm sitting with a group of parents that I train their kids. They came to watch some of my older kids. And I mean, you got people just coming up left and right. Hey, coach, how you doing? Hey, coach. Hey, coach. The referees come over. Hey, coach, man, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I haven't been to a game in a long time. So it felt good, for people to, come up and stuff. And my littlest kid, her name is Ella. She's like 7. She was like, Coach, are you like a superstar or something? And I was like, I said on YouTube I am. But no, and it just felt good because throughout the day, it was like multiple people coming up. And finally, after the game, my 9th grader gets done with his game and he comes up and he's like, hey, coach, blah, blah, blah. And a few of his friends are with him. Man, I chewed his tail out for how he played. I mean, just straight ripped him. And he's like, I know I could have done better, blah, 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 this. And I'm like, but you're also a 9th grader and that's your first ever high school game. I'm sure you're a little nervous. So we get done. I go by the concession stand and I see him. He's like, Coach, my friend, he wants to train with you, but he's nervous. I'm like, why? He said, because of how you ripped me. And I'm like, so I just told him and I said, look, kid, the whole point of this is I don't rip people because I want to make you feel bad. I said, you go to a school, you live in a town where everybody is average to below average. So if you want to be better, you have to do more. You have to expect more. You have to raise your standard. If you don't want to do that, then just be like everybody else. It's not hard to be like everybody else. It's not hard to be average. So.
And that's the thing too, that should show like how much you do care about them. I mean, when any other person that didn't give a shit, chew them out like that? No,
exactly. Not. They'd be like, oh, wow, you're so good. You're in 9th grade. You start. And it's like, how many 9th graders you think start in the nation? A lot. How many you think start in the state of Georgia? A lot. Like, it's not a big deal, bro. So, no, I know. So anyways, that was it, though. I just an example of kind of how this weekend has went. I love being able to make an impact, be able to make other people's lives better.
And you will continue to do that. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future actually has in store for you.
Oh yeah. I'm sure. My guy got it.
I say this, and I mean, I'm not. I am actually glad to be a part, to be able to see you. See where the future, goes for you.
Yeah, and I used to be so shy or, nervous about saying stuff like this, but I don't feel conceited, but I do feel confident. I do understand that, like, I don't mind taking the extra steps or putting together projects or putting together extra work or time because I know it'll pay off. I'm not worried about the past. I'm not worried about how things used to go or how they've been or how they went. I can see how things build up. And like you said, I'm super excited to see how things develop and prosper. So.
And I mean, for somebody to say that that's conceited, I mean, there's something wrong with that.
Well, I think some people get very envious of how they don't live their life.
Right. And that's the reason, we just had this discussion on PKs in my show.
Yeah.
That's the reason why people do what they do, like the trolling, especially when they get personal. I mean, they're unhappy in their lives and they have to find an outlet to where it makes to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, exactly. Those type of people, they do the same thing in real life.
Absolutely.
But no, look though, BA, I know I'm cutting you short because we should talk.
No, it's absolutely fine. I know you got a special guest coming on, so thanks for having me on.
And thank you, BA, for real. And
you're welcome. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye.
So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know we're gonna read off some of his statistics before he comes on. I figured you guys would like this, but like I said, I'm so happy about things are going in life. Like, okay, and thank you to all of y'all. Alan A. I ain't seen Alan A in here in a minute. Rick Sanchez for being one of the greatest trolls of all time. Billy Paul for just being the greatest of all time. SEC Dog, all of y'all. Colby, that's my boy. Jacob, who else we got in here? The Real TB. He's coming on in 5 minutes, the Real TB. I got him coming on at 6:30. What's up, me dub? All right, here we go. All right. Let's do this real quick. You're having GBD on? No, Rick Sanchez. He's let's see this. I'm gonna try to look up some of his statistics for you guys real quick. But how was y'all's weekend going so far, people? Yeah, he did play running back, Rick Sanchez, but not TB got to put him on the stream. Alan A., what you mean, big dog? Here we go. Hey, I like it. This man averaged almost 5 yards a carry his entire career at West Virginia. I love it. That's nice, man. Averaged 10 yards a reception his senior year. That's really neat, man. So, I haven't graduated college yet. Well, when you get there, Jacob, let us know. We'll be at the we'll be there, big dog. Rick Sanchez, I don't know. I'll have to find one. But to find one not named BA, I'm sure you know what I'm saying. You got regular size BA, and then we got shorter one. All right, let's see it. We'll get him to call in now. But yeah, guys, away from that. But hey, go Dogs, by the way. Does anybody else out there think that Georgia's not the number one team in the nation? And who is the number 2 team in the nation, guys? Is it Ohio State? I'm going to say it's Ohio State. I mean, I think Alabama and Ohio State are tied for second. Alabama's good, but Ohio State's good. All right, here we go. We got him calling in. Hello, Mr. Eugene Napoleon. How are you, sir?
What's going on, my guy? I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I've had a great weekend, a sports-filled weekend with a lot of coaching and a lot of, I say film study, but more live film study. You know, we're right after the game getting to pep talk kids or maybe having to chew them out a little bit of how they should have played or what they should have done, this and that. But I love it. I would not change it for anything. But that's about it, man. That's about it.
There you go. That's what's up. So it sounds like to me there was a lot of teachable moments there.
Oh, easy. I had my Saturday was filled with watching a couple of my 5th and 6th graders play, watching a couple of my 7th and 8th graders play, and then I have a few 9th graders that start on varsity for their basketball teams, and so I was traveling around watching, you know, stuff like that. So it was, it was neat, man. And and one kid I had to explain to him, just kind of, what he did, what he didn't do. And he kind of told me afterwards, he was like, hey, one of my friends wants to train with you, but he's a little nervous. Like, he's scared of it. And I'm like, why is he scared? He's like, well, because of how you just chewed me out. And I was like, look, and I went over to the kid and I said, I'm not chewing him out because I don't like him. I said, you live in a town right now where the average is below average, where not many people here go to the next level. So if you want to go to the next level, you got to raise your standard and do what others don't do. I was like, if you don't want to do that and you just want to be average, just do what everybody else is doing. It's easy to be average.
Wow.
And it's like, then all of a sudden, I get a text from the parent like an hour later, hey, my son said he talked to you. We'd love to get into training. Like, people know when they see it. They know when somebody out there wants more for them, even if they don't know that person personally. So,
absolutely. Well, you know what it is? To be honest with you, people respect what's real and they know what's real. So for you to do what you just did, that's a really, really good, like, and that's advice for life. That's not even just about sports.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you gave that young man, those some real jewels, and thank God for his parents to recognize that.
Yes, and that's what I've gotten smarter about. Some parents just want a babysitter. Some parents really want their kid to get better, and that's
true.
That's
What I love? It sounds like you're teaching life skills through sports.
Oh, easy. Okay. So to tell you a little of my story, Eugene, when I was, I think I might have told you this before, but when I was a senior, I graduated and I had been training these kids across the street. It was one family, and there's 4 of the kids. The oldest was 12. It was 7, 8, 10, and 12. And ended up going to college, came back after a year just on break. And, I just, first week that I was back, I ended up getting a call. They live right across the street. I get a call that one of them had been shot. And so I'm kind of tripping out. I'm thinking I'm staying up. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I stayed up the whole morning. Finally get a call about 6, 7 o'clock later that morning that it was the oldest, that he was spending the night at a friend's house and the kid had shot him and killed him because he just wanted to know what it felt like to shoot somebody.
Jesus.
And so I lost it. I completely lost myself. Like I just, I can't even explain it. This was 10 years ago or, 9 years ago. And I just told myself never again would I train or get close to a kid because I'm not about to get close to somebody for them to become a statistic. And it wasn't 2 years later, maybe a year and a half later, I was playing baseball in college. I tore my rotator cuff twice and kind of just started volunteering at the YMCA. A month and a half later, I get asked by a gym in town to be the head youth development leader and just started from there. So, it was I guess you can say I have a PTSD or a trauma from it, but in reality, it was one of those, at the end of the day, we all going to pass away, Eugene.
Absolutely.
We don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know why, but what we do know is we can try our best to be prepared. And if I can help somebody be prepared in their life, that when they go, they will have done all the things they wish they could have done, then I'll feel happy about myself. I feel like my God will pat me on the back and be like, hey man, like good looking out.
You did what you were supposed to have done. And here's the funny thing about that. Ironically, that situation happened for a very specific reason. And when those kind of things happen, those are the turning point, experiences in all of our lives. We all have them. And then you recognize that because you come back to that when God blesses you with another opportunity. He does that for a very specific reason. That's the foundation, right? So that happened. It's unfortunate that happened, but guess what? Look at what you've done with that since then.
Yeah.
And look at how many kids that you've already worked with since then. And that was your aha foundational piece that had to happen to put you in that situation, because now that becomes your testimony, right? And you do understand that, unfortunately, my mother used to say that all the time. We don't come to live forever. So I'm the youngest of 7. My mother buried 5 of her 7 children.
Wow.
So, my 9-year-old sister saved my life when I was 4 in a house fire in Jersey City. She gave her life for me. So when you go through those things at such an early age, it changes your perspective. It puts you, for me, that was one thing as I grew up, I understood everything I did. I did not want to disappoint my mom. I didn't want to disappoint my sister because I felt like for me, that would be, her life would have been, basically she gave her life for me in vain if I did something that would have disappointed her, because again, she knowingly gave her life for mine.
Yeah. No,
you understand? No. So that was my, changing point in moments in my life. I don't drink, I don't smoke, never got into partying. Those were decisions that was pretty much formulated when I was young. And I thank God for that to this day.
Yeah, man. And I've told this story just a few times, but telling it now, and I think, hearing your story too, it does make me emotional to go back and feel that was my moment where I was done with living the ways of the world. I was done with temporary happiness, stalling, prolonging how I should be living life. And that's why I love, like you said, doing this stuff through sports, man. I love being able to reach kids and get them to understand that all that other stuff, those are distractions. Everything that you put into sports, that's hard work. You earn that. You paid for that through sweat. And Anyways, but before I keep going, I love talking to you, man. But guys, I'm gonna introduce him. This is a non-couch burning former West Virginia player. His name is Eugene Napoleon. He played running back for West Virginia, and I believe it was 1987, 88, and 89. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes. And this guy averaged almost 5 yards a carry his entire career, which is nuts. If you guys know football, like that's tough to do. So, so is there anything though that you would like to say, Mr. Sir?
Listen, no, you did an excellent job. Here's the thing. Now, let's make sure that we're clear for all my West Virginia fans. Just because I didn't burn a couch didn't mean I didn't understand the significance of it. So let me be clear.
I've had West Virginia fans tell me burning a couch is just as emotional as a woman having a baby, and I was like, whoa, like.
Let me say this. Okay, it's all about perspective. Okay, so go. Yeah, it's all about perspective. But no, my time at WVU was just incredible. I didn't start there. I started at the University of Pittsburgh, and my freshman year, my older sister unfortunately passed away of aneurysm of the brain. So it was literally right in the early part of the season. So the way that her death was handled really made me understand that maybe that wasn't the right program for me. So that's one of the reasons why I transferred to WVU. And at that time wound up being one of the best decisions of my young life, because it gave me, again, everything is a perspective. It gave me the correct perspective on, major college sports and the importance of making a sound decision in the first decision that you kind of make. But when you're 17, 18 years old, and, I was a really, really high recruit. Back then we didn't have stars, but I was a blue chip All-American. So I was considered a 5-star. I would have been considered in today's recruitment a 5-star recruit. Could have went to any school in the entire country. So I picked Pitt, because big Tony Dorsett fan, that was my sports hero. And, if you were running back in the day, in my era, I'm sure there was a lot of Tony Dorsett fans.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I've seen a lot of his highlights.
Absolutely. One of the best, if not, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Just in my opinion. So that's why I picked Pittsburgh, and things happen and it leads you through a different path. And I'm kind of glad, obviously, I'm glad that I made the decision to transfer to West Virginia. That's
awesome, man. And tell me about how was it showing up to West Virginia? Like, how did those first couple of months go?
Well, at first off, when you transfer, you have to sit out. So I had to sit out the 86 season.
Okay.
And it was tough knowing that I couldn't play. But I'll tell you one thing I did appreciate. It made me focus more academically. So what happens is you truly have to be a student of the game. You have to be a student athlete. So you have to go to class and obviously keep your grades up. I paid so much more attention, obviously academically, because I couldn't play. And that was good. Going into a situation after losing my oldest sister, I needed that time. So again, it's about perspective. For me, I needed that time to get myself together. So on one hand, it was rough not being able to play. On the other hand, I probably wouldn't have been mentally ready to play, to be honest with you, after losing her. So when I was ready to play and eligible, man, it was an incredible feeling to take the field for the first time and be able to suit up and know that I'm good mentally, I'm good physically, and I'm ready to go out and just have a great, great season, a great career there.
It was game time whenever it became.
Absolutely. Now, I was fortunate because I shared the backfield with probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, college quarterbacks of all time. They just retired his number last Saturday, Major Harris.
Yes, wasn't he the first ever real dual threat quarterback?
Listen, I'm going to say, in my humble opinion, Major was the first of his kind, period.
Oh, okay.
Because he just wasn't, a dual threat. When most people say dual threat, they're really saying, let's put your best athlete at quarterback and all he can do is run.
Okay.
Nah. Major can throw on his knee, on his right knee, he could take a football and throw it literally about 90 yards.
Golly.
On his left knee, he could take a football and throw it with his left hand about 60 yards. Well, let me tell you something. When I tell you he had a cannon, and the funny thing about Mays that people really didn't understand, he can make every throw on the football field. So he just wasn't a running quarterback. He did what the offense needed him to do within our offense.
Got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So with us, it was myself. It was A.B. Brown, Andre Johnson, Craig Taylor. We had a serious amount of backs in that offense. And then to have him at QB, listen, one of the best, and I say that to this day, one of the best football players I've ever played with in my entire career on any level.
That's a heck of a endorsement, I'd say. That's awesome, dude. Well, and real quick before we keep going, I had a few people in the chat that one sent me a Cash App, one sent me a PayPal. Thank you, Colby, for the Cash App. I appreciate that, my dude. And Colby, one of my guys on here, he actually gave me a ticket to go to a Georgia game this season, and so I appreciate him. And another one was this guy's name's Huffer Billy Paul in here. He just sent me a very generous PayPal. I appreciate you, Huffer Billy.
Listen, can I say this? To God be given all the glory. See what happens? When you're doing good work, you're going to be rewarded for it on every level.
Yes, and I'm happy that I got to meet you because not that I second guess things, but it's really, really good to feel and hear affirmation in the sense of direction. And I think that it helps to hear it from you. And I hear it from others as well, but just to hear it from you as well, from your stature, your viewpoint on how things are supposed to be or how you feel they're supposed to be. You're very confident in how they're supposed to be. And it's like, I want to be that. I want to be that as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your kind words. And I give my mom, God bless her, to the grave she went, all of the credit. I was raised in a household, coming from a Christian background. My mother pulled no punches, and she was always very direct about her tutelage when it came down to taking full responsibility for what you say, what you do, your actions. And it all starts with you. So that's how I grew up. If there were ever an issue, she would say, what role did you play in that issue?
There you go.
What did you do? What did you say to make, this person or group of people react a certain way? So growing up that way, that's just how I live my life to this day. I'm not one that's going to point the finger at anybody before I point the finger at myself first.
Yeah. No,
it's easy to do that. You know what I mean? If you do that, there will be less, major problems. I've always said a big problem or a bunch of little problems that we never dealt with, and they snowball into a major problem. If you put out and deal with the small problems, you shouldn't have a major issue. Nobody's perfect. So you're going to always go through something. Mm-hmm. But if you don't validate yourself first, don't expect others to validate you. That's just the way. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Exactly. No, that's a perfect point. And I'm going to try to stick to my script because I feel like we could just talk. We could talk about anything, man. But next that I had on here was, what was the toughest, whether it was just all out tough game or what was the toughest mental game that you had in your seasons at West Virginia? What team was the toughest mentally or physically that you had to play against?
Let me tell you something. My senior year, we played Clemson in the Gator Bowl. Okay. And I know they say you should not use God's name in vain, but this is, oh my God. Clemson had probably about 6 or 7 All-Americans on that defense. Dang. And they had linebackers that can go sideline to sideline about 4.4, 4.5 in the 40, those type of linebackers. Dang. And when they got to you with real evil intentions. So that probably was one of the most hard-hitting, most physical football games I've ever played in. So physically, that would be that game. Mentally, I'm going to say, believe it or not, we played a real scrappy Virginia Tech team. I think it was my sophomore year.
Okay.
And Virginia Tech is that type of, Frank Beamer, God bless him, was a true X's and O's guy. So you play Virginia Tech, usually you're going to know that you're playing a well-coached football team.
Got you.
And it was really difficult because for the first few quarters, they kind of had our number for a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like, man, okay, everything you do, they were pretty much on it. And it took a minute to really get our rhythm. But as a true athlete, it's those times where you kind of stand strong on your faith and on your preparation, and you continue to just do what you're supposed to do, and it usually works out for you. But that was a grinding game.
Okay.
The 88 season, the undefeated season, we played some really good football teams, but I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't a grind because, not to be arrogant, we knew we had a good football team, and we also knew that there was no team that would be better prepared than we would be prepared throughout the week. Coach Nealon and that staff did a heck of a job doing that, preparing us. So I didn't really feel threatened in 88. Honestly, we knew we were going to win every game. That's not being arrogant. That's just the God's honest truth, including the national championship against Notre Dame. And had it not been for Major being injured and, early in that game, that game could have been or would have been a lot different.
Got you. I didn't know that he got injured in that game. Was he able to play the following season, or was that his senior year?
No, that was his June. That was Major's sophomore year, actually, redshirt sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and he, he was able to play. The next season. It's just, what happened when you tear up your shoulder, man. It's difficult, obviously, to rotate it, to throw, to do the things that you're normally used to doing. And what most people understood that this guy was good for either 14 to 21 points by himself, literally by himself. Either he was throwing 3 touchdown passes and maybe running for 1. So anywhere between 21 to 28 points, you was getting at a number 9, period.
Dang.
Either rushing for 2 touchdowns, throwing for 2 touchdowns, or rushing for 3 touchdowns, throwing for 1. I mean, he was that dynamic. So when you take that off the field offensively, I don't care who you're playing against, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, if he's not hurt, trust and believe we're rolling. We were averaging somewhere between 42 to 49, 56 points a game with a healthy Major Harris. So yeah, Notre Dame. Listen, no disrespect to them. I talked to Tony Rice, their quarterback, about a year ago, and we laughed about it because he knew. I said, "Listen, dude, you already know what time it was. If Major didn't get hurt," he said, "I know, Napoleon, I know." Listen, if he didn't get hurt, I'm not a betting man. But if Major didn't get hurt, we'd have beat them, in the supermarket parking lot. Trust me. It wouldn't have mattered where we played Notre Dame that day. Had Major Harris, if he was injured, if he was healthy, forget about it. I'm telling you, we'd have beat them at least by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Dang. Okay. Well, good. That's a great. I'm gonna have to go back and look at a lot of these, like the highlights and stuff, because I love listening to this. And I had one of my people asked the question in the comment section. He said, "Ask him, when did life click for you? When did you say, I get it? Like, I understand."
Now thank you. That's a great question. When I was 7 years old, I sat at the little dinette set in our apartment in Marion Garden Projects in Jersey City, and I was watching Tony Dorsett rip up, I think it was, matter of fact, how crazy is this? It was Notre Dame.
There you go.
He had about 300-something yards, a few touchdowns, and I remember my mom was in the kitchen cooking, right? And I wish I'd have paid better attention because I can't cook a lick. My wife could attest to that. So I remember running. I was making so much noise that she came out. She said, "What's going on?" And I was telling her, "Mom, you got to watch this. I know exactly what college I'm going to." 7 years old. So my mother was the type of woman where she would, if you're talking to her, she would stop everything she's doing. She literally stopped cooking, turned the food off.
Got you.
Stepped out the kitchen to take a look at what I was screaming about and said, "Okay, so what's going on and what are you talking about?" And I showed her, and she's looked at a little bit of the game. And again, this is a teachable moment. My mother was always the kind of person that don't just say what you want to do. What's the blueprint? She sat me down right then and there at 7 and said, okay, so you want to go to this college. You want to go to Pittsburgh. Okay. How are we going to get there? Because I can't afford to pay for you to go to college, number one. Number two, obviously, it would mean that you want to get a lot big. You have to get a lot bigger, son. Because I was probably out. I was a teeny tiny fella. So her thing was, okay, let's talk about the obvious, which would be school. So that means academically, you're going to have to be the best student that you can be. Athletically, you're going to have to be the best athlete that you can be. You put those two together. You know what I mean? So at 7, I'm having this conversation with my mom.
Yeah.
So it clicked even then that if I want to be good at whatever it is, I'm going to have to put the work in, sweat equity. That's what at 7, that's a true story. So probably right around the time I got to high school, went to St. Joseph's at the Palisades High School. I met Frank Gargiulo, my high school coach, who was also the principal. And the first thing he said to me was, I don't care how many yards you rush for, how many touchdowns you score. The most important thing is being a good human being.
Yeah, well, that's wow. Okay.
Because when you're done playing, your career will be over. But you're going to be a human being far longer than you're going to be an athlete. So the most important thing is being a good person. Now, that mirrored the way I was raised. The same conversation my mom had with me as a kid. It clicked at 7, re-clicked at about 13, 14. And that's just the way it was for me. So as a kid, I'm going to say those two ages, between 13, 14 years of age, it clicked where I kind of knew I was on a little bit different path. I just didn't have any patience for the nonsense. So when I would see some of my friends doing things they had no business doing, I wasn't perfect, but I didn't get caught up in the things that they was doing because I had my own goals already set.
No, I love it. I used to just question why I felt different. Now, granted, that had a lot to do with, both of my parents being deaf, not being able to hear or speak. I grew up really, really quick. I didn't want to party. I didn't want to do things like that. I always thought people were just really immature. They wanted to, blah, 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 because I had to constantly take care of my parents. Right. And so I'm glad, now that I'm older, I don't feel this need of like, oh, I didn't get to do it when I was younger. I'm going to do it now. Like it is what it is. Some people, they want to do that. That's their thing. That's fine. But
right.
I'm just kind of stuck in this mode right now where, in my mind, it runs through daily. You don't live forever. I'm not feeling like I'm running out of time. I don't feel like I'm rushing anything, but I just want to always be living in the moment. And I just feel like I'm happier that way. I feel like I'm so much happier. I'm so mentally, not stressed when I live that way. And I feel like I'm making a difference in the world when I can help, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 people. Like I train a total of probably 40 something kids right now.
Wow. So, what a blessing.
Yeah. So I hope that I can make an impact on all of them. And now, you can't save every single one of them from every bad thing that ever happens. But if I can at least put them in the position where when they want to learn for themselves or they want to do something themselves, like they know, like you said, the blueprint, they know how to get there. So,
absolutely. Which in what you don't realize now, and this is going to happen for you. It's happened to me many times, and I thank God for it. This in itself is going to be a blessing to you. When those young people get older and they're going to come back and share their stories and their journeys with you,
yeah.
And a small piece of their story is going to be something that you said or something that you did to help guide them into making the right decision.
Yeah.
That's when you know that you've done some things the right way and you gave them the right guidance. That is so important. It's almost like coaching.
Yeah.
And I share this with young people that are being recruited in colleges and all of this stuff. I always tell them, don't pick the college because of the colors of the uniform and their record and all of that, because it has to be the right fit for you. And I'm not talking about athletics.
Yes.
I'm talking about the people who run the program. When you research these coaches, you better make sure that what they're telling you, the kind of people that they are, hopefully they're good men, because you don't want your son or daughter around someone that's not, they're not really working or teaching or coaching them in the same principles that you raised your son or daughter to be. And it's interesting how we would rather send our kids someplace where a lie will probably stand longer and stronger than the truth.
Exactly.
So what I mean by that is, I don't care if you walk into a school that probably won 10 games in the last 4 years, right? But if that staff is intact and the university understands that this coach is doing a great job, he has a really high graduation rate. These kids are coming through that university, they're graduating, and they're getting jobs, whether they go pro or not, they're getting jobs. To me, that's more important than winning 3 or 4 national championships. And I'm going to tell you why. Because once again, it's a parallel piece to what happens when you're not playing the game.
Agreed.
So, yeah, everybody wants to win. And that's why I coached many years from Pop Warner to high school. Had an opportunity to coach at the collegiate level. But with me, what you see is what you get. I don't have, most people get caught up in the money and the fame and all of that. I don't have that vice. So those things, money doesn't move me. So I don't have a price tag.
Yeah.
So if it's not right, it has to be the right moral situation for me. And I'm not going to be in a situation where I got people doing things that's not morally correct, and it's not a faith-based environment. So everything people do, the validation is it starts with money and ends with money. Usually when you put yourself in those situations and around those kind of people, it's not going to work out good.
I can attest to that. I won't share the story. It's just a longer story, but I can attest that I did feel good to be offered to come help at a high school. And I got there, and I mean, they were, hey, look, we know you coach. Like, I was coaching 16 of the 31 kids on the girls basketball team. And they were just like, look, we want you up here. Look, we know you coach them. You do what you need to do. We won't stop you. And now, granted, I didn't have my community coaching license. I didn't have my degree, but they wanted me to help. They were letting me scrimmage with the team, just trying to get me to help. Well, this team had at the time the #1 player in the state of Georgia. And this was a very, very good team, and I felt like I got to come in and really basically just be another coach. And I remembered, talking with the coach, coming up with a game plan for the next couple of teams, and we were going over this and that, and she was so just excited. And one of the assistant coaches was just, I guess you can say jealous or envious, whatever you want to say, but he started trying to make my life hell. And as soon as that happened, I was like, I knew it was time to get out. Like, there was no trying to fight it. And this is the way I looked at it. If the head coach wanted to stop what was going on, she could have told them, no, I appreciate him being here. So I didn't want to fight it. I didn't make anybody look and go, see, I told you he's a bad guy. Like, I just kind of stepped into the shadows, and that was a few years ago, and it kind of made me go into a dark hole of just not being appreciative and in a depressive state. And here lately, it's probably last year and a half, I've been climbing back up to be my normal self again. And that's why it's awesome to now be back at training and coaching back up to 40-something kids. I mean, when I was younger, 21 to 24, I'm 28 now, about 21 to 24, I had about 70-something kids that I was training like every few weeks. Like,
wow.
I was and that's people would say like, well, your atmosphere it infects. It gets out there, and people just love it. They want to be a part of it in any way they can.
Right.
And that meant a lot to me. It definitely means a lot.
It's the hard knocks of, first off, and I'm to be honest with you, you had to go through that particular experience. Once again, that's the foundational piece. It's something that you can build on, and that's fine. Yeah. Because I'm sure the truth of the matter, when things like that happen, they happen for a very specific reason, and that I'm sure that helped you to look at things a little bit differently now. Now, when you see, hear, or even smell a person coming and they're if they're remotely close to what that individual was, you'll know it. Exactly. And you will know that that's not the right situation for me. I don't need to go. Imagine if somebody came to you and said, listen, I'm going to offer you a coaching position at a collegiate level. I'm going to give you a position coach. I'm going to give you $200,000, right?
Yeah.
But you walk in that office and the assistant coach is sitting there, and you get the little tingling in your gut. Like, wait a minute, something's not right. This individual reminds me of that other situation.
Yes.
It wouldn't matter how much money's on the table. You're not going to take that job.
Because I'm not dealing with it. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Because you know how that situation made you feel. You know what it did to you. And see, that's what I'm saying. There are people who would put themselves in that situation, take the money and would rather take the money and be miserable.
Yep.
Versus that's just not the right environment to be in. And that's what I mean by there are those who they would rather be validated than to make the right decisions where it's going to be more healthier and conducive for them to be successful long term. That's short term stuff, money and all that nonsense. That's short term. You got to think a little bit longer. You know, the trajectory has to be a little bit longer.
I was offered a coaching position, a head coach position at 26 for a junior college baseball team, and I took it. And I ended up untaking it because of that exact thing, because I knew the way the staff was and how they didn't mind bending the rules to get things. And I was like, I'm not going to have my name on it. You know, it's cool and all to be a coach. I was the youngest coach, like in junior college baseball history, whatever it was, but it's not worth having your name dragged through the mud. So I was like, I'm not doing it. Like I'll get mine one day. That's kind of how I look at things. I'll get mine one day. And we got a lot of people in the chat saying that you should be coaching offense at Clemson because of how terrible they're doing right now. A lot of people in here. I mean, hey, I'd like to see it. Heck, Elliott ain't getting it done.
Listen, I have a lot of respect for that program, and fortunately, the turnover in college sports is ridiculous. Like you see what's happening at LSU when you see the coach will be up out of there, right? So
yes. Here's
a lot of fans that don't understand. When you lose your OC, DC, you lose most of your position coaches, and they're either in the NFL or they moved on to other programs, either to be a head coach or for more money someplace else. It's tough to turn that whole, room around as far as from a coaching staff is concerned. And then you're going to get the same productivity out of your players. Because when you bring in a new DC, a new OC, their philosophy is going to be different.
Agreed. You're
going to have to mirror that with the players that you have in that room. Now, these guys come in and say, well, last year, we had this guy at tailback. Well, he might be gone, or maybe he's still there. But the new OC may not like his running style, or may not like the fact that he doesn't know how to be properly. He can't install him in his passing game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. Now he want another kid. And when you bring new people in, the head coach is going to say, well, okay, let me see. I'm going to let you run your room. This is what we're paying you all this money for.
Agreed.
So a lot of times it takes a year or two of maturation to kind of turn that stuff over. And unfortunately, you have people they're just not patient, or they don't understand the process of what that is. With Clemson, there's two things for me at Clemson that's going on right now.
Okay.
One, the offense looks stagnated because once you figure out their style and what they're going to do defensively, I give a lot of defensive coordinators a lot of credit at these other universities. They simply figured Clemson out.
Agreed.
They just figured they literally figured Clemson out. Now, Dabo is a good enough coach to where I'm surprised, to be honest with you, that he hasn't switched up some things. I look at some of their route tree, for instance, offensively. When I look at some of the play calls, and it's merit to what he's been doing for the last 4 to 5 years. Your tag routes where you have 2 or 3 guys in the same, like even if they're right. Yeah. So the windows for the quarterback to throw the ball through, the lenses are a little bit cluttered because you are tagging the route to the same side of the field consistently. I'm surprised. Now, he got away with that years past. You had studs at quarterback.
I was just going to say that could run,
yes.
run down the line of scrimmage, force the cornerback or the linebacker to bite.
Thank you.
And as soon as they bite, you're throwing it over the top. Or if you don't bite, I'm out.
Thank you. You had that situation. Now, when you don't have that, it makes things look, wait a minute. Well, last year, this guy was cream de la croix. This year, you know what I mean?
I know.
So I kind of look at that and say Clemson will be back because it's not one of them things where they just simply rebuild. They'll be back.
Yes.
I'm just hoping that, there's a few programs around the country that I'm looking at right now, and you kind of hope Dabo will survive this. He's not on the hot seat because of the things that he's built so much equity there. He'll be fine. But there's other universities where there are some coaches who may not have that luxury. But I want to say this real quick before we go any further. My wife said this from, I want to say, the second week of the season. We watched Georgia play, and she said, I bet that they win the whole thing. Right?
Really?
Now, it had to be either the first or second week of the season. And it's funny, I do this college game show sponsored by Sports Illustrated with Skylar Callahan, right?
Okay.
And I remember we were doing the West Virginia game, and I said to him in pregame, I said, you know what? My wife said this. And he said, you know what? I got to tend to agree with her. So I want the Georgia fans to know we called this early part of the season. So we're not surprised on where they are. And I'm happy to see them at number one. They should be at number one, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the Georgia, by the way, I love how we're doing this because I'm glad I'm not interrogating you as far as an interview. I'm glad we're just smoothly transitioning from one to the next. And the thing about the Georgia deal that goes for me is I remember Kirby's first year at Georgia and all of these. Oh my bro, you do not understand how many people I had to argue with on a daily. How many Georgia fans that were like, that was the worst thing you could have done was fire Mark Richt. Kirby's going to be terrible. I'm like, no, he's not. Look at what he came from, blah, 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 this and that. His first year, we lost like 4 or 5 games, but the team looked amazing. They were physical. They were hitting. Like, it just looked different. And I had all this talk next year, national championship appearance. And I was like, I knew it. You can tell by the way he does things. Well, at the same time, did you not notice as he started to leave Alabama knew they were losing their defensive guys. So what'd they do? They had to adjust. They had to start scoring 50 points a game.
Absolutely.
And that's where I was like, Alabama knew what they lost. Georgia, these fans have got to realize what we have. And it's like seeing what this guy does now, getting the number 1, number 2 outside linebackers, number 1, number 2 inside. Like, these guys are wanting to play for him because they know how ready they will be for the next level, even if they only play their senior year. Like,
listen, you just brought up a heck of a point that most people don't understand. Okay, when he's looking at high school kids, there's a philosophy that he uses that I think is one of the best in the country. I'm not sure if he got it from Alabama or where he got it from, but they're not looking at high school kids, just the high school body of a kid. They're looking at a kid that might be, let's say if he's an outside linebacker and he's a sophomore in high school, but he's already 6'1", 6'2". They're already looking at his body type and projecting him. What is he going to look like in my weight room, with my training table, with my strength staff? If he's already 6'1", 6'2", and he's in the 10th grade, okay, he might grow another 2 or 3 inches. By the time I get him on my campus, this guy, we're going to fill his frame out. He's probably going to be 225, 230, probably running a good 4'5", 4'6". We can use that young man. He's projecting already what that young person could be from his 10th grade to 11th grade year in high school.
Agreed.
And then he knows if I get him in my building and he does the things that I know he can do, I'm not going to project him. This kid could possibly be, barring anything can happen. I'm saying in the perfect world, barring any serious injuries, this kid might project to be a 1st or 2nd round draft pick.
Agreed.
If I get him on the field by the time he's a sophomore, because we know the natural things go through and you're going to make plays and do the things and you get better, bigger, stronger, faster, more of a better student of the game. He is that type of coach. I've always had a lot of respect for the way he goes out and he does his business as far as recruiting is concerned.
You make a great point. That is one thing that I was very invested in Kirby about, because when we had Mark Richt, the last 5 to 7 years, I just remember always getting so mad. And people would, just it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. That I would not understand how Georgia would have all of these players in state that would constantly go to Alabama, constantly go there, constantly go. And Kirby, like you said, because of how he understands how to get kids to buy into, you don't have to start your freshman year to go to the league. And at the same time, why do you want to put any, and this is genius, two things. One, why do you want to put any sloppy film on your game tape? When scouts look you up, why do you want to play your freshman year and have a okay season your freshman year and them say, he had a rocky freshman year, but he started getting better as a sophomore and junior? Why not just play your junior year? And they say, wow, yeah, he played great the entire time he played in college football.
Well, absolutely. And plus, when you go to those kind of programs, think about it this way. Kids who go to Alabama and they wound up playing as a junior, you don't think the scouts, NFL scouts, know already? Well, look who he was sitting behind.
Exactly. Yes.
They know already. You know, Minka Fitzpatrick, God bless him, man. I love Minka. I was able to coach him when I was at St. Peter's Prep, his freshman year at St. Pete. He played with my son, Brandon, right?
Gotcha, yes.
We knew when Minka walked in the door what he was. and so did Alabama. So he went and played and started as a true freshman.
Wow.
They knew what they was getting when they came to scout him at St. Peter's. But prep was just like the way, you know, shout out to Rich Hansen, who's now retired at St. Peter's. He did the same exact thing when he was looking at a young person in Pop Warner. He kind of knew already if you're going to be able to, first of all, academically get into St. Peter's. It's one of the toughest schools in the country on a high school level to even get in.
Wow. But
he knew if you got accepted into the school academically, to be a prep kid, there's certain things that goes into that, even as a student athlete. You got to be a student first. It's like I said, it's a really difficult school to navigate academically. But once you get through there, that's the reason why every Division I school in the country comes to St. Peter's every single year, because we normally have 3, 4, 5 All-Americans every single year. We normally have 1 or 2 5-star kids, 4-star kids. And I don't like the star rating system, but I'm just calling it out for what it is now in current day recruiting. So they know what they're going to get. And they know when you get a St. Peter's prep kid, that kid's going to be well-versed academically to come into your university and do well as a student. They're going to be hard-nosed athletes because that's what prep produces. They produce good students. Exactly. They produce great athletes.
And you don't have to worry about them in the classroom. You're right.
Absolutely no. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
The second thing about Kirby that kind of makes me feel he's like an evil scientist. Well, maybe not evil, but he's like a diabolical scientist. Is this guy, and this is where people he makes you hate him. Like if not a fan of Georgia, he makes you hate him because he does these little things that are very mischievous. Like, okay, example, the week we play Florida, he gets these kids to silently commit, and then he tells them when they should publicly commit. Well, it's the week of Florida, and that Tuesday we get Bear Alexander, 5-star D tackle, to sign. Well, then that Thursday we end up getting another 5-star recruit to sign. And then after the week after playing Florida, we have a wide receiver flip from Florida to go to Georgia. And his statement was, I just don't feel the trust at Florida, blah, 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 this and that. They get him to flip. The following week, a DB that had Florida at the top of his list, Julian Humphrey, is now committed to the University of Georgia. Like, he sets these things up because he understands there is momentum in anything. There's momentum in the offseason, momentum in a game. There's momentum in recruiting. And he is the most he's just a genius at it. He knows how to build things up to get the next player to commit.
Well, look at it this way. It's all about the optics, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly.
It's all about the optics. So, you know, and again, it's the recruiting game on, you know, he understands it at such a different level because of where he came from and because of the way that machine recruits. He understands it. Now, having a great product like he has, you don't really have to do too much selling, because if you watch Georgia on from their offense to their defense to their special teams, they are so well coached.
Agreed.
You don't mind coming in as a true freshman. I don't care if you was a 2-star. If you come there, you already know the guys in that room that are ahead of you are guys that are legitimate athletes. They're really good, obviously, at their position, or they wouldn't even be at Georgia. Okay. You don't mind coming in, especially if you want to compete and know that coach is telling you the God's honest truth. Listen, if you come here, we may have to redshirt you. You may not play until you're a sophomore or a junior.
Yeah.
The reason why you don't mind that, because the guy sitting ahead of you're going to watch him play on Sundays.
Exactly. Yes.
So, and you want to be that guy. So why would you not want to come to a place that's going to develop you in that way? Again, academically, athletically, and the X's and O's of the game to help prepare you to get you to the next level. If that's your chosen choice, your chosen path, and God willing, that's what God has in store for you. Because there's another piece spiritually that a lot of parents don't understand. I don't care what you say. If it's not in the cards for you, it's not in the cards for you.
Agreed.
But if you go to the right place and you're going to be the tutelage is correct by the header and the DC, the OC, the other coaches there, you're going to have a much better chance if you're being coached by somebody like him and his staff. They do I can tell they just do a tremendous job. When one person comes out and the next person goes in, you don't see any downplay in that particular position. I don't care what position it's in.
Agreed.
I love watching Georgia do what they do. Any team, I'm a fan of good football.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't care who it is. I'm just a fan of good football. I can go and enjoy myself at a good Pop Warner game.
There you go. Hey, man, I saw this kid. He had 6 carries for 445 yards.
So, yeah, man, I'm a fan of just good sports. I love good sportsmanship. I'm not too much into that. You're a great winner, but a sore loser. That kind of stuff bothers me.
Oh, and I don't want to get off on this, but that's why I knew Spencer Rattler would not make it. When I saw this dude throw an out route and it was a little high, but then he slaps his helmet and starts like pointing at the receiver and talking, I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's the receiver's fault or not. If you're a quarterback, that is not the role of the quarterback. That's not how you play that position mentally.
No doubt.
Everything is your fault if you're the quarterback. And that's where I just saw, I was like, dude, he's not going to make it. And then I don't know if you saw the video of him in high school when he was dogging all over one of his receivers, saying he's the reason that he looks bad. He's the reason that he's not one of the top recruits in the nation or something. And he just doesn't, like you said, you can tell when a kid is going to be a cancer, and some people still try to take that chance. And, and he might turn around, but at the same time, you don't know. It's a tough situation. It's a risk. It's definitely a risk to take. But away from that, though, away from football, I would like to ask you to tell us about your book that you're coming out with. Or I say you have a new book. I know you already have one book out. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah. Years ago, 2006, I put out a book called Dream Real, which wound up being, and I thank God for the Barnes & Nobles and Amazon.com bestseller within a month. I just,
nice.
God is good. And that was just really based on my mother's teachings. Now, it's interesting when you write a book, you have to have a hook. That's what I call it, in something that's going to get the readers to want to go and be interested in it. So the hook really was, or at least it seemed to be that I was at the time a sports agent, a really successful sports agent. So a lot of people would have thought that the book would have been about sports and things of that nature, when it was actually about making good decisions and life choices. So the hook would have been, when you pick it up, like, oh my God, this is about who he represented and all of the stuff in sports. And, and when you read it, it's like, it's life lessons.
Yeah. It's
literally riddled with a lot of life lessons that I learned from my mom. Now, I just put a book out last January. It's called Reflections, and it's a motivational quotes book. And it's interesting, man. And again, I thank God for that success as well. The minute I put it out, a month later, it became a Barnes & Noble's top 100 bestseller. And what it is, I realize that a lot of people don't like to read, but you would read or remember a good quote before you would remember reading 5 to 10 pages of even if it's a good book.
No, exactly, because it would hit home.
Right. So I decided to do a book and just do they're all my quotes, but 5 chapters, 10 quotes per chapter on, a few different inspirational, motivational topics. And let me tell you, I thank God for that, because a lot of the school districts around the country started to buy into that concept. And, they bought the book based on using a lot of those quotes as motivational pieces for their kids to unpack. I do a lot of critical thinking, as well. So when I'll take a quote and unpack it and unpack that particular quote and have the kid write an essay on it, or a narrative from it, and we talk about how does that relate to you, and it opens up so much more dialogue that way.
I love that.
You know what I mean? So for me, that book, Reflections, I'm really proud of it because of what it's helped. I've had a lot of parents that would send me messages through Messenger, or my social media accounts, and let me know my kid doesn't like to read, but oh my God, it's a really, really short read. Now, what that does as well, it helps to build self-confidence. If a young person does not like to read,
yes,
they can read my Reflections quotes book, no exaggeration, in about a good 20 minutes.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and they feel good about it. So what are you doing? You're restoring the fact that they feel successful about something because they completed a book, even though it's a short quote book. They completed it, and they got something from it. And that was the whole purpose of it. It helps to build positive self-esteem.
No, and that, like you had told me before, and we had both talked about it. There's a lot of things that people don't talk about or don't discuss with others that they think about before they go to bed, or while they're laying there, while there's no sound on, or while a TV show's playing, whether at night, blah, blah, blah. Like, people hit those walls where they either just don't feel good enough, or they don't feel like they're doing enough, or question whether they're doing enough. And when you help people take those little baby steps towards feeling a productive life or a productive lifestyle, that to me is making an impact. And that's, like I told you, that's why I live my life the way I do. So all respect to that. I think that was an awesome idea with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm literally in shock and awe. Like, anyways, I love it, and I'm gonna have to get it. A lot of people in the chat keep asking if it's on audio, like if it's an audio book, like they want to listen to it at work, or
I believe, you know what, it is. And I actually just realized that a few months ago. Every now and again, I'll go on and just check to see what. Yeah, it actually is. Okay. You can order it from any online outlet is carrying Reflections. Barnes and Nobles, they're excited about it because people keep reordering it, and I thank God for that. Like I said, a lot of parents order it in a lot of the school districts, but it is available on audio as well.
Okay. Well, good. And I know I'm kind of jumping, but somebody said I only need the audio if it's voiced by Napoleon.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure who it's voiced by.
Anyway, it might be Betty White. Well, yeah. Either way, I'll listen to it. Don't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm gonna get it because where I work, I drive a lot and always taking trips left and right. So I'll definitely. Will you tell them the title again to the book?
Of course, Reflections.
Okay. Title of the book is Reflections, guys. So definitely scoop it up, get it. I'll be getting it. And then I guess to kind of go into, because this is the last thing that I'd had that I wanted to just kind of get you to talk about, and I was curious as well. What now? And I know you own a record label, or you're a part of a record label. It's an independent record label, correct?
Yeah. I'm the CEO of Nat Vision Entertainment for the last 25 years.
Where did you get your love of music, and what made you decide to take that step towards it?
Now, I'm glad you asked that question because then I can actually talk and brag about my beautiful wife.
Okay, go for it.
So, no, I did not like the music industry at all because it's such a morally bankrupt industry.
Yes.
But what happened was my wife, I met her through my stepsister, Lisa Miller. Shout out to Lisa Miller. And she was telling me about this young lady who writes and sings and all this good stuff. So, of course, I meet her, and sure enough, she's really, really talented. So she must have had, at the time, my wife must have had maybe, 15 freaking notebooks filled with poems and songs that she wrote.
Okay.
And they were pretty good. So at the time I was playing, and I said, you know what? When I stop playing, I'm going to do everything I can to help you, get your career going, because you are really talented. So that was my first interest in helping her. And, she was letting me read through these different contracts of people, these production companies that want to sign her and all of this stuff. And they were all bogus deals. So the minute I stopped playing, I remember, shout out to Frank Baskerville, a really, really good family friend. He said, look, I want to introduce you to someone from Wall Street who, would love to get into the music game. So my first deal was partnering with someone from Wall Street, Russell Rosenthal. Shout out to Russ, just a great guy. And we really sat down and put this thing together. The first thing we did, my wife started her own publishing company, because obviously writing songs, you want to protect, the publishing side of it and own your own catalog. So that's what we did. The next thing it was getting a distribution deal as a label, formulating my company, getting it registered, proper paperwork on it and all of that good stuff. And then going out and literally getting a distribution deal. A lot of people don't understand. We were never interested in going to a major label, because major labels was predicated on keeping all the daggone money,
Exactly.
Getting you caught up and giving you a little bit of, upfront advancement, which is really a bank loan, because the perception of it is exactly the same. We give you an advance, but you got to recoup all that money before you see another dime.
There you go. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I knew that and was like, nah, not interested in that. I want to be on the distribution side of it, because if we own 65, 75, 80% of the distribution side of it, that means back then, if an album was $15, we own 75% of it. So that means she's making $11 and a quarter off of every album sold.
Oh, okay.
Versus doing a point structure deal, where if a point is worth a nickel and you sign an 8-point deal, your first deal as a new artist, you're getting 40 cents out of every $15.
Wow.
You understand the difference? So you look at the difference.
See, and I know nothing about that kind of stuff.
So for me, I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. We're going to always own our own company independently, and we're going to only go and shop for distribution deals, because within a distribution deal, there is no publishing. So they won't be touching your royalties. They won't be touching your publishing dollars. You're going to get the lion's share of what you put out. Now, was it easy? No, it's not easy to be independent, because everything you do is on you. But see, here's the flip to that. It comes back to, again, the way I was raised, and I thank God the way my wife was raised. We don't mind taking the responsibility of everything that we do.
That's respectable on so many grounds, or just even away from music. Because the way you said it earlier about teaching kids stuff through sports, it's more than sports. It's about life.
Absolutely.
So the same way with this, like if you live your life a certain way, it doesn't matter if it's music. It doesn't matter if I'm in line to get a grocery cart at Walmart and an old lady's behind me and there's one left, and I just, hey, you know what? You take it. I'm good. Like,
listen, absolutely. We were fortunate, her first album actually went gold. Which was incredible. So we put our first album out 1996, and it wound up going gold, selling 500,000 copies worldwide. So that opened up the door for everything else that we've done since then, because she wrote 90% of that album. She did a remake of Tonight's the Night by Betty Wright, and we were blessed enough to do a remake of A Change Is Gonna Come by the legendary Sam Cooke. So those were records that, she grew up, her mom, she grew up on that kind of music. So it was great to be in a position for her to actually do remakes of those two legendary songs and legendary artists. And she wrote, like I said, 90% of the rest of that entire album. So the success from that opened up other doors where we were just in a totally different lane as an independent company, being able to have that kind of right out the box success. In my career, I've negotiated now 14 worldwide distribution deals.
That's
So
awesome.
when things flipped the way they did for digital distribution, now you see everything's different. We were already on the cusp, and I thank God on the ground floor with a company called Ingrooves, which back then was the biggest digital distributor in the world. We've been with them now for the last 18, 19, maybe 20 years.
Dang.
So we were really, when the whole industry flipped from physical distribution to CDs and all that and vinyl to digital, we were right there at the door with them, which was a good thing because now everybody is digital distribution. And I got to say this, all these years later, I thank God we just gave Friday night, my wife just received her second platinum award. And I want to give a shout out to everybody involved real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
WBNC Radio in Philadelphia, Bev and Chris, their station, it spans 60 countries abroad, and it hits about 3.5 million listeners. And for the last few years, man, they've been so supportive of our music and what we do that the fans literally, we put music out, they listen to it, and they vote on it weekly. So the last few songs, the current single right now, Chillin' With My Baby, is number one still since September, I think, 11th, all the way to current date on that platform. And it's still number one for the last 14 weeks on R&B Soul Effects TV. So shout out to Rashad and his wonderful staff. Shout out to my cousin who produced Chillin' With My Baby. You got to look him up because he's one half of the legendary R&B group from back in the early 90s, PM Dawn.
I'm gonna type it. What's his name? I'm gonna type it in. All right,
Please do. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I like, because this is going to surprise you in your fan base. So, capital P.
Okay.
Capital M.
All right.
Capital D. AWN. PM Dawn.
PM Dawn.
Now, what's going to in legendary music? Legendary music. So when you hear some of the songs, depending on the age bracket, some of your fans will remember if they saw the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. The title song for that was "I'll Die Without You." Huge record.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna save this, and that way, later tonight, I'm gonna listen to a lot of his music. It just popped up, and I see that one. The I would die without you.
Without you, yeah. Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. Big. They were number one. They beat out Michael Jackson and Prince back in the day to have the number one slot on Billboard. I mean, so awesome. Jared, shout out to my cousin Jared. I love him. He produced Chillin' With My Baby. That's currently number one right now. So my wife and they received their platinum award just Friday night. We gave it to them. Shout out to Kenny Black, the Music Machine. He produced, my wife has 16 number one hit records, and Kenny produced, I believe, 14 or 15 of them. And my cousin Jared just produced the 16th number one hit. So for me, I cannot, and I will not, I can't complain about anything. We God has blessed us on every single level. And we're gracious and we're humbled by that. So my wife's stage name is Naya, NY' for anybody that wants to look up her music. Okay. It's on all digital outlets, Spotify, anything wherever you buy your music, you will find her music. NY' Naya is my wife's stage name.
Okay. By the way, Joey Foster said he just got here, asked how the show's going, and he just wanted me to tell you that he said hello.
Shout out to my man. Yes, shout out to Joey. That's my guy.
Yes, Joey's good people, man. He's
great people. Now you got to ask Joey if he burned a few couches in his day.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, Joey. We'll have to have you on and let you tell us about your couch burning. Maybe you have like a record number of couches you burned in one night or something crazy. But no. So and this is the cool thing. I remember most of the part about the radio and all that, but I would like you to tell everybody in the chat just kind of what you were talking about with me as far as just hooking me up with talking to the guy at the radio. I don't know his name. I don't know if you even told me his name, but I was just so hyped up when you told me about it.
Absolutely. So what I didn't know until you explained to me what you do as far as rap music, and I listened to some of your joints, and the thing I like about having authentic people in radio, okay, because that in itself can be very, very difficult to navigate. We've been blessed with, like I said, WBNC Radio in Philadelphia, and what they do. If you have something that's authentic and it's good stuff, they will listen to it and they will literally bring you on their station. And like I said, now your stuff is heard in 60 countries. Your stuff is heard, the listeners, over 3.5 million people. That is so authentic because it's outside of the realm of where you have to do something, advertising budgets and all this kind of nonsense. If you have good music,
yeah,
the fans should be able to hear good music. It's not the same, top 40 platform that everybody else is playing. It's literally independent artists mixed in with major artists. And if it's good, it's going to stand out, period. Yeah. So I felt good enough about what you do that I wanted to really introduce you to Bev and Chris and bring you on that station, because I think your music needs to be heard at that level. Once it gets out there, now you let the fans decide. And I really believe that's what this stuff is all about. You let the fans decide. It's not for someone to say, I'm not going to give this individual an opportunity because of whatever reason. If you have good music, it should be heard. So that's what I said to you that I'm definitely going to do. And Bev and Chris, they're like family to us. They're great people. They don't get into, if they don't like something, I'm not going to play it. No, they're going to let the fans decide.
Well, then I'll be honest with YouTube. This was about 6 months ago. This kind of became my outlet. So when I first started just making music and all, I have, probably some older phones where I just have a bunch of songs that I've written back in the day that I try to be really real about them. It's how I expressed my emotions and my feelings, just a lot of stuff I expressed. And lately on YouTube, I started just trying to get into the talent part of it to make, make things sound good. I used to always say that some of my favorite rappers, it just is so smooth. Like they call it backpack music. And that would be my favorite thing to listen to, just something that I could vibe to. And so the most recent song that I put out Friday was the first song that I've put on YouTube that I actually feel confident about, like that I've really, really just put together, like really focused on and really put together. A lot of them that I've put on have been good. They've been this, they've been that. But that, like I said, the one Friday I put out, I thought was really neat the way I put it together. And I had my friend that I stay with now, his kids, we're singing the chorus together. And so I thought that was a neat aspect. But I'm going to make another one where I do a little more, like a little more real in it, a little more emotional in it. And I think that one will be good as well. And like I told you, I would like you to help me choose. I want you to listen to the one that I put up this Friday. And then when I make the next one, I'll let you listen to that one as well. And you just kind of, just you pick your mind on it. I agree with you.
It would be a pleasure. I think I listened to, when I went to your channel, you have something up right now, correct?
Yes. It just went up like 2 days ago or a day ago.
Right. So that's what I wound up listening to, and I liked it.
Okay.
Now listen, I have a fickle ear, so
okay.
I always look at things this way. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
I know I have a fickle ear. I'll just give you real quick the way I listen to music. I don't necessarily listen to the music first. I got to listen to the lyrics and the way it was written. So the content of the words of the song has to bring me someplace. I like to close my eyes and try to get into where the artist's head was when he or she wrote it.
Yes.
So it has to have, for me, this is just me personally, it has to have a message. So I can't listen to something, just a whole bunch of words or whatever, and it has a fat beat, a nice beat around it. And it just, because if it doesn't, and again, this is just my way of listening to music. Yes, so once I listen to the lyrics first, then I'll go back and listen to the music and the lyrics all together. So I may listen to something maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
before I can give somebody an honest opinion, because that's just my process of breaking down a record or something that I'm listening to.
No, I like that. I agree.
Yeah, it has to feed my soul, man. It really does. I can't. Some of this stuff, I listen to it, and if it doesn't, I mean, I'll turn it off immediately. If it doesn't click, it has to have something more than just a beat.
And I think the toughest part about trying to make music or trying to put it together for me is I don't have anything fancy to put it together. So like I'll explain to you how complex it was to make that. I had to take my microphone, which is a nicer microphone, but I got it for YouTube, so I could have clear quality and people could hear me really well. And I put my headphones on and let the instrumental play while I rapped into the microphone. I recorded it through my camera on the laptop, then posted that as a private video to YouTube, then went back on my phone, screen recorded myself rapping, and then took that bit and the instrumental and put them both on iMovie and had to edit it to sound word for word. And
Wow.
I don't mind it being complex, but like I could only imagine, I wouldn't mind paying money to go rent a studio or go to somebody's place and it sound better.
I was just getting ready to ask you that. So I do have. How far are you from Atlanta?
About an hour and a half, I'd say.
Okay, so I got to reach out to one of my guys. He has his. Well, I got two of them actually that's right in Atlanta that are producers, and I mean they're decent sized producers. One's a huge producer. The other one, actually, no, I can't. Both of them are industry producers that have worked and have credit working with some of the most legendary artists in hip hop and R&B. So they're both in Atlanta. I'm gonna reach out to them and put you in contact with them, okay, and see what they can work out for you as far as trying to get, just get in a real studio, because who knows what will come out of that.
No, I agreed, and I would love to have just have somebody's input right then and there. That would help a lot, So I'm just I don't know, man. I overall, like I appreciate the atmosphere that you bring, and I appreciate you coming on and just not just sharing your story, not just whether it's talking football, talking music, talking Kirby Smart in Georgia, but just I appreciate the wisdom, and I appreciate you being humble about it. I think that helps, dude, because whenever I come across somebody that's egotistical, or they high and mighty, my brain just shuts off, because I've been across these people too many times. So I'm just like, when I come across somebody that can tell you so many things but still tell you they don't know everything, that's who I want to be around. So
absolutely.
So yeah, man.
I'm gonna leave you with this thought, and you might laugh at it, right? So okay. I always tell people this, and I was raised properly. So at the end of the day, if you're in the room and you're the smartest person in the room, you may be in the wrong room. So you might want to rethink that and go to a place where you can always elevate, and there's always people in there that's smarter than you, that's more accomplished than you, because it means that your personal growth, it will always be striving to be better. So no, I don't know it all. I never claim to know it all. I just know this. I'm going to always work diligently and hard in everything that I'm doing. And everything I'm doing is going to be done with a moral compass and a moral base, faith-based. If I walk in a room and the room gets cold because of the people that's occupying that room is not for me.
No. And I thank you, dude. And I just realized we have dominated the clock. And so I did not mean to take all your time. I've had you on for a little over an hour. And so I'm sure you're probably hungry or ready to watch a TV show or something, man.
Not a problem. It was a blessing to be on, and thank you for having me on. And I'm gonna make those. I'm the kind of person, look, I don't waste any time. So as soon as I jump off the phone now, I'm gonna get to those one or two of those producers and find out what their schedule is, and I'll connect you within the next 24 hours with one of them.
Okay, well, look, I appreciate it, man, and it might be tomorrow or Tuesday, but I'll definitely just kind of give you a call, and we can just hash it out as far as how this all went, and just kind of talk and go over some things. And I appreciate it, dude, and I hope you have an awesome night. Okay.
Listen, not a problem. You have a blessed rest of the night and have a great week. And I look forward to talking to you in a few days.
Yes, sir. See you, Mr. Napoleon.
You got it. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Y'all, that was awesome. Jacob, I'll get to that. Clemson Brave, y'all, I'll get to it. I'll figure it out. But Joey Foster says, I'm telling everyone here, Eugene is an awesome man and a great friend. He even called a friend of mine whose mother is very ill just to lift his spirits. That's awesome. What's up, Tahoe guy? What's up, big dog? Kobe says, I got you a ride and a house in Atlanta, TB. I got you. All right, Kobe, just make sure the power is on, and I'm good. No, it was a good interview, y'all. That was really cool. Again, thank all of y'all for your support. I was planning on streaming the Golden State Warriors game after this, but I think I'm just gonna soak all of this in. Just Joey Foster, again, thank you, dude, for just giving me this opportunity. That's really a blessing in its own, and I appreciate you for being the type of person that wants to just help other people. Huffer Billy Paul is calling me. I'm gonna take his call, and then we'll Tahoe guy, I think it's Cool Whip. You asked what kind of whip does he have for tea? I think it's Cool Whip, sir.
I think I found a new girlfriend.
Who is that?
Napoleon.
Oh, hey man, that's a cool dude, ain't it?
I wouldn't do. He knows better, but no. I mean, God dang, man. What a great session this was. I don't know how to tell you.
I don't know either. I couldn't even hype it up to be this. That was
I swear to God, man. No, he's a real deal, and I can't. At the same time, it's part of what everybody has to deal with. He is as you can cut it with a knife. He is as genuine as anybody could be.
Yes,
he Agreed. Is as genuine as you could be, and so yeah, and he's a real deal, and yeah. So I'm just happy that you got him on. First of all, I am, and it is enlightening to the rest of us. If anybody doesn't get kind of where he's coming from and what he's saying and how you should be as a human,
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
No, really it was almost in a sense beautiful. That entire thing was
it's surreal.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal. And I just. Me and you talk a lot, Huffer Billy, and a few of y'all I definitely talked to. Tahoe guy. Comment again, Tahoe guy. I want you to see the surprise I gave you. Just I made him a mod, Huffer Billy, so I want him to see his wrench. Tahoe guy, look at your wrench when you comment. But no, I just I don't know. Like I said,
I think I sent you a PayPal. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I said it earlier. I said you were freaking awesome for that. I really didn't even get to read it. I was so just hyped up about this.
Well, I was just saying Napoleon's a god. He really is. And look, man, Clemson doesn't. Everybody gets all tribed up on their team and stuff. I get it. Let me say this: if Napoleon had beat Georgia in a bowl game, would you be upset?
Man, no. I would be upset if he didn't beat Georgia, especially after meeting him, man. And I don't know. That was like I said, it was just neat because for me, I don't want to be around people that think they're all that. Like we live in a world, we live in a lifetime that everybody lives through life. Everybody goes through years of living, and then they pass away. Everybody does. Multiple generations, all this and that. So who are you? You're not greater than any previous generation or future generation. You're just you. And in the amount of time you're here, what can you do with it?
Yeah. No, we've been down this road, man. And it's good to see people be, self-reflective and we say humble, but they don't make them like that anymore. don't be too serious about yourself. I mean, really, if you're first of all, this is my argument with all people, and I say this to people all the time.
Yeah.
When you think you don't have any blind spots, then you're screwed. You're no different than the rest of us. Period. Ever.
Agreed. Personally, I think mine. I think my blind spot has always been that I want my kids to know that I care about them, so they'll listen to me and work their butt off. And so what I've changed. Oh, Rick Sanchez says he definitely has bald spots. I think he said blind spots, Rick.
Well, no, he means bald. Rick has got bald spots.
But what I was saying is, last night I chewed out one of my kids. He's in 9th grade, and I just told him I was very real with him, and it's like it didn't phase it one bit. He was smiling. He walked by me, see you, coach, dap me up, this and that, and I'm like, what? That's going to be the new me. I'm not going to mind hurting your feelings because it's not like I'm telling you dress weird or you have a terrible accent.
No, it's effort. If you don't put in the effort or you don't have the character and you get criticized because you don't have the effort or the character, then I have no sympathy for you.
Yes.
Period.
Colby said he did 8 push-ups listening to that interview.
Cole, that's 3 more than he ever has done.
Hey, there you go, man. That was a very motivational interview. And but dude, that was
Colby gets 5 and he drops to the ground like a damn sack of coal.
There you go. Well, that was he said, Colby, Fishing Football says I'll do 9 right now if you do 10. Well, but
this should be fun. Let's watch these guys.
Yeah, you're gonna have everybody in here doing push-ups. Like, sir, yes, sir. I will run through a wall for you, sir.
Go.
God, we're gonna have everybody swollen one night off of listening to Napoleon.
Listen, man.
Rick Sanchez. Hey, Rick Sanchez says his cat grew a mane listening to this interview. That's a good one, Rick. That's a good one. Oh, they got my stomach hurting. But
Rick. Oh, seriously, God help me.
That was a good one because I can just see a cat with a mane right now.
I seriously have to
oh my goodness.
One day. God damn it. I mean, that guy's a good guy.
He is. Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, he really is.
And I love his atmosphere that he brought.
Yes.
I love the atmosphere. Man. I want to get a cat and have him on again so my cat can grow a mane.
Listen, Fishing was coming in on him, right? Fishing was coming in coming in. He's coming on in on Sanchez. Sanchez is holding my beer. Well,
anyways, dude, look, I just need to soak in all that happened. So
wasn't it great?
Yes. So I'm not even gonna stream the Warriors game. I'm gonna end the stream. Yeah. I'll of course I'll probably talk to you tomorrow, but I'm just gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna hang out with
Steven.
The little yes, I'm gonna go hang out with them and eat a taco or something and
hey, good deal.
But, and then tonight, agree, Colby. Tonight I'm gonna get started on a new song, dude. But
I can't even get you. If somebody could give you, somebody could tell you, here, you're good. I would give it to you. I don't have that power.
No, and it's okay. And you know me, I'd rather work for it anyway. So that's why I love that the opportunity at hand is that.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
It would. And you're welcome, Pizza Woman, and Fishing Football, I agree. If it's supposed to go that way, then it will. And thank you, Joey. He says break a leg with the producer. I know you mean not literally. I'm not breaking my leg, Joey. Thank you, John Kelly, all of y'all. We'll see though. Well, at Fishing Football, appreciate it. But if I do what I do and I put my work in and I am who I feel like I am, then maybe we'll get to the next level, and then I might be able to to feel a lot more productive. I think that'd be awesome.
Dude, tell me more about it.
And I'm going to tell you this, and then I am going to end the stream. But Rick Sanchez says, "Watch out for them studio producers, TB. I've seen 8 Mile." All right, I'm done. Look, man, I'm done. Thank you, Huffer Billy, for calling in. You're always welcome to.
Later, man. Later.
Yeah, see you, buddy. And all of y'all, thank y'all. Y'all are freaking awesome. I'm ending the stream. I'm about to go hang out with my people and just be blessed and just appreciate everything that I feel like God has given me. So good night, y'all. I'm going to watch the Warriors game on my phone. I might give y'all an update at halftime or at the end of the game. I might, put something up, but y'all stay safe in these streets. And yeah, Jacob Watts, stop using all caps. Peace.